Is your child's school safer than it was a month ago? That's the goal, at least, of the Public Safety Act signed into law last week. But we are still waiting to see just how school districts are going to handle and pay for these new requirements, like having a school resource officer in every building. State budget won't cover the full cost for every county in Florida. And that came up, as you can imagine, at 4 different school board meetings today at least. First in Pinellas County, the school board did not discuss school officer funding since their agenda was approved 2 weeks in advance, but they voted not to participate in the school guardian program. And the superintendent says they will need to come up with at least $6 million more for the new officers. They'll meet in the coming weeks to work out a plan there. In Manatee County, the funding issue was brought up, but it was not on the agenda, so we're still waiting to see just how they plan to fund new officers. Polk County's school board began with what will likely be an ongoing debate about funding our officers. Sheriff Grady Judd, he was there. He has been a strong supporter of the Guardian program to train school employees to carry guns on campus, and he was backed up today by Andrew Pollock, whose daughter was killed in the Parkland shooting.
Happened to me in a nice community, and it could happen to anyone. And if I could give advice to a school board that would help save a child's life, I thought it would be worth driving up here 3 hours to tell them about my experience.
At least 2 school board members say Polk should not participate in that Guardian program. And in Citrus County, the school board approved funding for more school resource officers, at least through the end of this school year. Nightside reporter Sarah Rosario has a closer look at what it's going to cost.
There are 18 schools in Citrus County, and only 5 of them are without school resource officers. Well, the school board has approved additional funding for the 5 school resource officers, which will cost about more than $165,000 for those officers. Now, that's just for the next 3 months until the end of this school year. That cost will be split with the Citrus County Sheriff's Office. Take a look at this, though. Next year is where it gets tricky for the district. The cost to pay for those 5 additional school resource officers for the entire year adds up to this, more than $132,000 per officer. That does include, though, their salary, their weapon, equipment, and of course their patrol car, which they need. So in addition to the school resource officer, the school district also plans on hiring a couple more people. That includes an additional sergeant and a backup officer who can fill in when the other officers are out. So here's how that breaks down. The total cost for the 5 officers next year would be just over this number right here, $661,000. And when you add in the sergeant and the backup officer, it comes out to just under $1 million at this number here, nearly $944,000. I talked to the superintendent, and she says she wishes they could have done this sooner.
Education first, but safety always, and that's always been a priority of ours. Anytime something happens, we review our plans, we meet with the board, we bring our safety people back to make sure we're doing the right things.
And the superintendent says she is not in favor for arming school employees through a Guardian program, and she says all of the money allotted from the state will be going directly to the Sheriff's Office to pay for those school resource officers. Sarah Rosario, 10 News.
All right, and if you are wondering about some other local school districts, they are on spring break this week, but we will keep checking in to find out what their plans are to keep your kids safe.